Good morning, students. Hope all of you are fine. Beta, this lecture is also in continuation with the chapter 2 of the book, and name of the chapter is Writing in City Life. And beta, till now we have discussed various topics of this chapter. Like in this chapter, we are studying about the Mesopotamia. So till now we have discussed the topic about its geography, about the urbanism, and how the goods was moved into cities, and how the writing was developed, what was the system of writing, literacy, and what were the uses of writing. And the latest topic that we discussed, it was the urbanization in southern Mesopotamia, temples and kings, that how now that area was just converting into kingdoms, and which type of temples were built, right? So beta, today the topic that we will discuss, this is the life in the city. Like now we have seen that a ruling elite had emerged. It means a small section of society had a major share of wealth. So why this small section has a lot of wealth? Because beta, in that jewelry, gold vessels, wooden musical instruments with white shell and lapis lazuli, ceremonial daggers of gold, all these things were included. And do you know beta, all these things, these were buried with some kings and queens at Ur. Means during excavation, these all costly things, these wealthy things, these are found with the kings and queens. But what about the ordinary people? Because here we are talking about the kings and queens. So now one must be aware about the ordinary people of Mesopotamia also. So now we come to know from the legal text that in Mesopotamian society the nuclear family was the norm, and in that nuclear family there was married son and his family, and often resided with his parents, and the father was the head of the family. And even we know a little about the procedure of marriages, but at the time of marriages declaration was made about the willingness to marry, and the bride parents giving their consent to the marriage. Then a gift was given by the groom's people to the bride's people. So this way, like at present also you see, आप अभी भी देखते हैं that there is the exchange of gift whenever any marriage is there, right? So beta, at that time when the wedding took place, gifts were exchanged by both the parties. They ate together and made offerings in temple. And when mother-in-law came to fetch the bride, then the bride was given the share of the inheritance by her father. And the other property of the fathers, like house, herds, fields, those were inherited by the sons. So if we find out, Ur, that is one of the earliest cities to have been excavated, and Ur was a town whose ordinary houses were systematically excavated. And in 1930s, narrow winding streets indicate that wheel carts could not have reached many of the houses, and even sacks of grains and firewood would have arrived on donkey back. So narrow winding streets and the irregular shapes of house plots also indicate an absence of town planning. Because अगर बेटा town planning होती है, if town planning is there, then there will not be that winding street, right? And the size of house, it should also be regular. So even during excavation, according to the findings, there were no street drains as we found in the contemporary Mohenjo-daro. बेटा जो Mohenjo-daro site है, there proper drainage system was found. Drains and clay pipes were instead found in the inner courtyards of the Ur houses, and it is thought that house roofs sloped inwards and rainwater was channeled via the drain pipes into sumps. And beta, this sump, it was a covered basin in the ground into which water and sewage flow. So it means this could have been a way of preventing the unpaved streets from becoming excessively slushy after a downpour. Like आपने देखा है during rain, it becomes very messy on the kacha roads. So maybe all this system was established just because to avoid this type of situation. Yet people seem to have swept all their household refuse into the streets to be trodden underfoot. This made street level rise. And over time, the threshold of houses had also to be raised so that no mud would flow inside after the rain. It means जो घर का जो एक फ्लोर का साइज था, height, that was also increased. And light came into rooms not from windows but from doorways opening into the courtyards. So this would have given families their privacy. And even there were some superstitions about houses recorded in omen tablets at Ur that a raised threshold brought wealth. Means कि जो threshold means जो बेटा जो कूड़े का ढेर होता है, it brought prosperity. So a front door that didn't open towards another house was lucky, but if the main wooden door of a house opened outward, the wife would be a torment to her husband. So different type of superstitions were spread in Mesopotamia, and even there was a town cemetery at Ur in which the graves of royalty and commoners have been found, but a few individuals were found buried under the floors of ordinary houses also. So means different type of graves were found, and if you will read these beta, means there was also a social system that the Mesopotamians they were following, right? Now the next topic is that is a trading town in a pastoral zone. After 2000 BC, the royal capital of Mary flourished, and you must have noticed that the Mary stands not on the southern plain with its highly productive agriculture, but much further upstream of the Euphrates. If you will see this map beta, with its color coding shows that agriculture and animal rearing were carried out close to each other in this region. Some communities in the kingdom of Mary had both farmers and pastoralists. Pastoralists, as you know, the people who move from one place to another in search of pasture with their cattle. But most of the territory was used for pasturing sheep and goats. And these herders, they need to exchange young animals, cheese, leather and meat in return for grain. Metal tools and the manure of a pent flock is also of great use to a farmer. It means these pastoralists and the agriculturists, they were interdependent. So these herders, they were just providing the young animals, cheese, leather and meat, and in exchange of that they were getting grain, metal tools and the manure from the farmer. And at the same time there may be the conflicts also, like a shepherd may take his flock to water across a sown field to ruin the crop, and even herdsmen being mobile can raid agricultural villages and seize their stored goods. And even for their part, settled groups may deny pastoralists access to river and canal, water along a certain set of paths. So there can be different options of these conflicts, like the same type of topic we have read in the chapter Nomadic Empire also. Like those people, they were also nomads, and then they started raiding on the different groups. So this Mesopotamian history, nomadic communities of the western desert, they filtered into the prosperous agricultural heartland. Shepherds would bring their flocks into the sown area in the summer. Such groups would come in as herders, harvest laborers, or hired soldiers, occasionally become prosperous and settle down. Beta jo settlement ki beginning, that was by the pastoralist only. And few of them, they gained power and they established their own rule. Like in these the tribes which were included, they were Akkadians, Amorites, Assyrians, and Armenians. So all these were the pastoral societies. Those later on they established their kingdom. And the kings of Mary were Amorites, whose dress differed from that of the original inhabitants, and who respected not only the gods of Mesopotamia but also raised a temple at Mary for Dagon, god of the steppe. So these Mesopotamian society and culture were thus open to different people and cultures, and the vitality of the civilization was perhaps due to its intermixture. Means what you have seen the in Mesopotamian, in this Mary, people were from different groups, different they were doing different activities, but still they were living together. And beta, if you will see this image on the next page, this is the palace of Mary of King Zimrilim, right? And you can see here in middle of that the audience hall, this one, right? And you can see the inner court also. There is a throne room also. So, and if you will see, there is a royal suite also. Well is also there. One entrance gate is also mentioned. Then you can see the courtyard also. Then scribe office, where they used to write all the transactions. In scribe office, the benches are there, and the clay bins for storing those clay tablets are also shown. So this is the map of the Palace of Mary. In this also you will come to know about different things, like kitchen is there. You can see here the workshops and the kitchen, lavatory and bath. Even some paintings were also found on the wall. So all these things, it just show the prosperity of that area. So hope beta all of you have understood this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.